So Danny, congratulations to your new show. You directed, I guess, 2 episodes, is that correct?
Yeah,
Of
I directed the last 2.
DOPESICK, the last 2,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I'm also the creator, showrunner, and I wrote them all.
Absolutely, of course, of course. So what attracted you to that project?
Just the story itself is so shocking and disturbing to the extent that a pharma company would lie, deceive, manipulate to sell a product that is so dangerous and so harmful to people. I was enraged by the story, the facts of the story. I thought there was also an even bigger story besides their corruption, which was how the institutions of the American government that are supposed to protect us from a company like this, colluded with them, legally colluded with them, perhaps illegally colluded with them, and their ability to peddle influence the highest levels of the U.S. government to enable them to keep selling even harder after their lies had been exposed and they pled guilty to them. It's a stunning story. I think it's a uniquely American story, and it was one that I think needed to be told.
Okay. What shocked you the most?
Everything. You know, the drug was based on a lie. So the whole concept of their marketing of this drug was a lie, which is that it was less addictive than other opioids. So if your very foundation of your marketing campaign's a lie, well, then that means everything that you put out to prove that's the case, that's going to be a lie too. So the lying, it just never ends between blood charts and studies and independent organizations that are, endorsing the drug. Well, these organizations, in fact, they're not independent. They're fully or partially financed by Purdue Pharma. It's almost like there's this manipulative long con that goes into place here, and the tentacles of that con are so far and wide that they reach the highest levels of the U.S. government. It's shocking.
Okay. To me, the most shocking thing was it could happen to anybody. I mean, if you go to a doctor or to a dentist and they said, okay, listen here, I give you something, your pain will go. So yeah, it could happen so quick. That's the shocking thing here.
Yeah, one of someone that was involved with the case, when I asked them, what angered you the most, he said that they lied about how addictive the drug was, and yet you could become addicted within 3 days. Literally 3 days of taking OxyContin could change your brain chemistry to the point where you are now addicted to this drug. So yes, it could literally happen to anyone, and it did. It did happen to anyone. It happened to so many different people in every socioeconomic status, race, ethnicity, gender. No one was spared. Now, it began in these rural white working class areas, mining, logging, farming towns, because that was where they initially launched the drug. They specifically targeted these areas because people got hurt on the job and had a higher rate of taking painkillers because that's what they did for a living. But the drug's tentacles spread far and wide over the course of the next 2 decades to the point now that we have a full-fledged national health crisis.
To be honest, I'm terrible with pains. I'm like a child, If I have headache, I just take something.
Yeah,
but after that show, I have to think about, to be honest.
Hey, if you have a headache and you want to take a Tylenol or an aspirin, go ahead and take one. I mean, that's what they're there for. But what Purdue was saying was, well, if you have a headache because this drug's non-addictive, you could take an OxyContin. That'll cure your headache. When in fact it's a highly addictive narcotic. It's heroin in a pill. So what if someone came to you and said, oh, you have a headache, oh, why don't you take heroin for it? That's what they were doing, and then sure enough, people would become quickly addicted to it. So I don't think that the tale of OxyContin means that all medicine should be distrusted. I think the tale of OxyContin is a story of a uniquely corrupt company run by a completely immoral family that was willing to lie. This company was just willing to lie and manipulate and deceive in order to make as much money as they could.
Okay. What should the audience take away from your show?
Well, in the last few episodes, we have we dive into medicines and therapies to treat opioid use disorder, and a lot of them are stigmatized, and in fact, they're really effective. And hopefully, this show can help turn the corner on the crisis by getting more people to seek therapies and medicines and treatments that could really change their lives quite quickly, actually. So that's one of the main things I'm hoping that people take away from it. And I'm hoping that they have a very detailed, visceral understanding of the crimes of Purdue and perhaps the revolving door with industry and government that enabled this to happen. Maybe more regulations can arise to help curtail how destructive the revolving door can be.
Okay. Danny, thank you so much for your time. It was very interesting talking to you. Again, congratulations to your show. I love it.
Thank you.
I hope you have a big success, and I hope we can talk soon for another one.